On a Monday we play the front nine, on a Thursday we play the back nine.
We decided, because Frank had a knee operation, and we decided that 9 holes would be enough for us.
2 games makes 18 in a week, and that we can just about do that. I can just about do that. He doesn't say so, but I think Ian's a bit. 9 holes is enough, really.
Still, because all the chaps, men I played with, as time went on, they all retired and went to heaven. I was obviously started having to play on my own again, but there are many friendly members here who invited me to play with them, so I just kept going.
I was pretty much a solitary golfer, really. I don't know why. I just, I just did. And I was quite happy playing singular. I met up with Ian later on in life, and we both beat the scene, so we teamed up together.
Well, I decided that in 1954 we still had military conscription, but if I went to the Merchant Navy, I could be accepted and exempt from doing military service. And I thought, well, it sounds a good career. So I went to sea as an apprentice on April the 1st, 1954. And thereon, I continued, passed exams, one by one, and I eventually made it my career. I was promoted to master in 1977, and I retired at 59. There we are.
I started playing golf when I left the forces. I left school and I went down the coal mines for 3 years. And a friend of mine was killed in a roof fall, so I thought enough's enough. So I joined the Royal Navy. I spent over 10 years in the Royal Navy as a seaman gunner. And when I left the Royal Navy, I took up golf.
We're always talking about, a little bit too much port helm, too much starboard helm, or maybe you should use a bow thruster to help you get on the green. And we talk about the wind being 4 points on the bow, or 4 points on the port quarter, which bamboozles our friend, but he enjoys listening to our nautical language, put it that way.
Ian's still married, and God bless him and his wife and long life. I'm not. I lost my wife 6 years ago, and it can get lonely, so it's difficult when you've been together for 56 years. And this golf course helped me a lot to get over that, just to get out of the house away from the scene.
Well, it's very important for both of us, because he is a little bit younger than me, but he's a taskmaster for must have the exercise, he must get out, he mustn't sit at home watching TV and all that business. He must get out and have a walk and a talk and the challenge of the golf.
Well, if you're talking about scores, it's up and down like every old people. If it's talking about conversation and glad to be away from the house, it's 99.9%. So it's a camaraderie, really. He's a good talker. I say to Ian, if you pass a bunker, you'll have a conversation with him. He speaks to everybody, which is good, It's good to welcome people to the club, and he's an expert at that. I like him.
I've been here for 30 years now, and I think I've known Ian all of that time. And I have seen him, obviously 30 years is a long time, and he has gone from playing off the normal tees, if you like, and now he's on the forward tees, and they like to make the game as easy as possible. And they still get great fun out of it, they come down and, Frank's just recently, lost his wife and things, so it's, as I said, it's a great social thing. He's got friendship, I think that's important, and the longer we can keep these guys at the club's there for them for other reasons than just golf, really, so I think that's important.
If anybody put it in their mind that I'm retiring tomorrow, the big question that you would ask yourself is, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do with my life? And golf, for us older people, actually fills a lot of that void. And these two guys are a great example for what you should do in life.
All the Golf and Health research says, that people who play golf live for 5 years longer, and I think the important part to focus on for me, if I, at a golf club, is how do I keep people playing golf for those 5 years? Because that is helping, say the social the social side and the value of that, and reducing that kind of isolation and loneliness, which obviously has been magnified in the last 18 months to 2 years. There's more likely in that age bracket, golf generally in that old bracket, golf is the main thing, often the only thing, an activity that they do. So we kind of have that responsibility in terms of maintaining their levels of activity, because it's hopefully preventing conditions from worsening and the impacts across their whole life. It's keeping them a social connection. So there's definitely more to do.
Golf in Society, our social mission is to improve the health and well-being of our aging population, and really we're concerned that we've got a global population that's aging, and more people are becoming inactive, and inactivity is a major contributor to chronic illness. So there's some really challenging things out there in terms of demographics, especially amongst our aging population. Where we make a difference is that, especially for people later in life, we create opportunities for them to enjoy activity, to keep engaged with activity or sport. And the way that we do it is basically we give them a sense of purpose. We give them something to look forward to every week. We build programs around them that they enjoy. We give them opportunities to socialize and make new friends. And then also, in addition to that, we support the unpaid carers. And that in itself is a huge challenge that we as a nation and we as a global society face.
Well, for me, it became apparent how length affected some of our older members when we first lengthened the course back at the turn of the century, early 2000s, and we made some changes, made the course longer, and we actually lost a few members at that time, saying that they just couldn't cope with the length of the course anymore. So that's when it's sort of hit home to me that the length of the course does affect the enjoyment and playability for some older members. But it's only really in the last 2 years that we've really taken that further on board, and we decided to make a shorter course specifically for the older members here. And we had a good chat about what we could do and get these tees that were built all those years ago back into play with the additions of a couple of new tees.
We are most impressed with the new tees. The green tees have been a great help, and the colour schemes is good. I think the biggest improvement has been the green tee at the 17th. That is, everybody speaks about that.
The 17th tee is reduced the carry to the fairway by about 40 yards, and that makes a huge difference. An architect that we use, a golf architect, highlighted that this area up in the dunes here would be an excellent place to site the tee. It's quite remote up this part of the course, but we came up, had a look, and the vista from this tee is just fantastic. So we decided to clear all the rough out, and it was quite a big job, but we're now on it, and it's actually arguably the best tee on the course visually, and the members just think it's great.
I think it's a great advantage, because the previous 17th tee, older members couldn't reach the fairway, and that negates the whole point of elderly members playing, isn't it? So I think it's a good idea. I think they've done a lot of decent improvements. It's just the fact that we've been here, like I've been here 20 years, Ian's probably been here 40 years. And we do deserve a little bit of giveaway, maybe a bit of respect, I think.
For me, it is an absolute success just waiting to happen. You've got beautiful green space, you've got built infrastructure of clubhouses. The surroundings are inspirational in themselves, but the one thing that golf is not, it is not inclusive, it is not accessible, and it is not embracing people in the community that need support and need opportunities to enjoy this green space. And that's where we're hopefully going to break down a few of those barriers.
I like to go home with a smile on my face and say, well, it's been a pretty good morning.
So it's the fresh air, get out, a beer, you know, that's it. And I'm quite happy to have a chat around. And if it wasn't for golf, I don't really know what I'd do.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. I've seen juniors become adults, and I've seen, you know, adults become older people and stuff. And it's quite sad to see sometimes when people go frail, but that's just the way it is. So we've all got to sort of embrace this in the future. It's coming.